Okay, two were removed just now, so come back in. 16. So I will restart again, talking about soil arthropods. Now, essentially, if you don't want to miss some of the arthropods, you just think like this is insect. Okay, insect with exoskeleton, and then they have legs. How many legs? It could be many, many legs. If they have many legs, it's called millipedes or centipedes. Sometimes they don't even have legs, like slugs, snails. Now, essentially, these two are not considered as arthropods. They have another name called gastropod, if I'm not mistaken. Other insects also like considered like springtail mites, beetlebugs. So these are the insects that available in the soil that participate in the decomposition of organic matter in the soil. So of course, when they say inorganic matter decomposition, they eat and they shred large pieces. Uh, that's why they're very much on the higher tropic of the soil nutrient cycle. As you can see right there, it starts with the organic debris. So these are the organic matter, large pieces of the leaves and also dead animals, perhaps. Now, I already crossed out some of those that are not considered as arthropods. They are very much soil organism, but I crossed out those that are not considered arthropods. So whatever that you consider arthropods, you can see right there. So earlier, you're not so sure what the springtail is. So this is how it looks like. You probably have seen it before, but you don't realize it is like that. Mice, as I told you just now, it's like kumbang kecil, beetle. So this beetle actually, when they grow up, they have a large horn in front of them. So this is a beetle. Centipedes, not need explanation. More beetles. So these are the stinky ones, if not mistaken. I think this is the one that stinks. Ants, very common, 6 legs. Mice. So mice, if you can see, right, they count the legs, how many? There are 8. So sometimes these arthropods, they may have 6 legs, they may have 8 legs, and they have many, many legs. Yeah. But of course, they have one thing in common. They all have exoskeleton. Outside of their body is quite hard because they have that. So arthropods, how they recycle the nutrients, they eat the organic matter into small pieces and they further decompose it. Now, once they eaten this so-called organic matter, they will also discard some feces outside. So this feces also is considered the digested version, the digested organic matter. Why they're so good? Because when they're digested, they have nutrients inside and they are available for the plants. They can dissolve much more easier than before digestion. Okay? So that's why they're so good, because they help increase the availability of the nutrient for plants. I think you must have seen this video. I mean, this cartoon before. Nowadays, I think it's not that popular. But what this so-called character does is this character always roll out some cow dung. And you know why? Because this is what they do. They roll the cow dung and they keep it somewhere, sometimes deep in the soil, because this is what they eat. Yeah, this beetle is called dung beetle. It is so important, especially in temperate countries, because these are the main source of decomposer. Without this beetle, all the cow dung will going to slowly disintegrate, they slowly decompose, and of course, it takes time to make it available, this nutrient. Okay, next part is soil nematodes. In other words, you can call it soil worms, the microscopic ones. But this is what you can see. See, beyond this light, behind there is actually a microscopic image of a microscope, where if you look carefully, some of these nematodes are bigger, some of them are smaller. Why is so? Because nematodes also surprisingly have vegetarian, some of them vegetarian, some of them like meat, some of them like they eat both. Even nematodes also have very different diet. But nematodes in this in soil science, they have several functions. They have several importance. Okay. Now, nematodes is considered an animal, soil fauna. Now, compared to arthropods, they are not segmented. They are actually worms. They're not segmented, but what I can say about nematodes is they can be very, very small. The largest one can be said to be 1 millimeter, the small one up to 50 micrometer. Now, this one can be considered the size of an atom, but not really the size of an atom, but close. Maybe 50,000 times of the size of an atom. But you get the idea, it can be very small. Now, nematodes, I believe you must have heard before, cacing. So whatever cacing, you must have imagined that this cacing inside your stomach. Yeah, they also consider as nematode. When you see these nematodes in the soil, they also participate in the nutrient recycling. And that is a good thing, isn't it? They recycle nutrient. But sometimes, not all the time, sometimes, these nematode also can cause disease even to the plant. Now, the right-hand side image, as you can see, is a disease caused by nematodes. They call root knot. The root itself is not like grown uniformly, but you can see some of the parts of this have nodules. These are not nodules, these are the knots, they call it. The knots caused by the irregular growth of the roots due to the invasion of these nematodes. So what happened in this is the nematodes actually goes inside the root and steal the nutrient. So yeah, this is one bad side of a few nematodes. Because what I can say about nematodes is majority of them, they're actually beneficial for the plants, majority. In a way, they recycle the nutrient. So like I told you just now, even the nematodes also have very different diet because some of them just eat bacteria. They call bacterial feeders. Some just eat fungus and some eat another nematodes. Yeah, cacing also can makan cacing. They can eat themselves. Of course, the bigger ones eat the smaller ones, or they can be omnivore. Now, when I say predatory, some of these nematodes, they eat another nematodes as a whole. They telan the whole thing. The other nematodes actually, they don't telan, but they actually like parasite. So nematodes also can become a parasite of another nematodes. So this is what they eat. But the main point of me showing you all this is that nematodes actually have various diet, and from this information, we can know and sort of like study the soil quality. Because according to one aspect of the study of these nematodes, they can actually segregate how much of these so-called bacterial feeders, how much of fungal feeders, and they can guess whether the soil is good or not. So this is one. Now I won't going to show you this video. This video, not video actually. This is actually a passage, okay, an article published by soilquality.org.au. You can click and then you can see how it's done. How nematodes is used to estimate soil quality. Okay. Now I can tell you like in brief that 3 points only lah. Now from this diagram, you can see nematodes can eat various different sorts of food. They sometimes can be a parasite to the plants, just like you saw just now, the root knot parasite. Some of them just eat bacteria, some of them just eat fungus. Now from these two ratio, the ratio between the bacteria and the fungal feeding nematodes, you can actually estimate how good is the soil. Now from this passage, from this page, it is said that if the soil have more bacterial feeding nematodes, the soil is said to be healthy. That's one point lah. Of course, if you go into the passage, you can see there are many more interpretation, yeah, based on the different ratio of these so-called nematodes. So I actually encourage you to see and to visit the website and read further. Yeah? So a conclusion, a summary of what nematodes can do. Of course, one of which they can be used to monitor the soil quality. They are used majority for nutrient cycling, and at times nematodes also is important to control another nematode, because you learned just now, isn't it? Some nematodes can eat another nematode. So they are there to keep the balance, because if there's an imbalance of these nematodes, something bad may happen. Yeah. So that's what we can say about nematodes. I think we still have time for another break, but before that, I'll try to finish soil bacteria lah. Okay. So the next part that we're going to go through is soil bacteria, and as you can see from the scan image. This is probably most likely produced from SEM, scanning electron microscope. And some advance on this microscope can actually draw color to each of these different bacteria. There are large bacteria, the small ones, some of them are rod shaped, some of them are spherical, but they do their job accordingly, even though not the same. Okay, soil organism, some numerous among soil organisms are bacteria. Every gram of soil contains at least 1 million of these tiny one-cell organisms. Sometimes millions, but it depends. You see, if a soil is healthy, have a lot of microbial diversity, yeah, they can be up to millions, maybe more than that. But if there are pollution, these bacteria might decrease. Yeah, if there are pollution or there's some stress, there might be some stress that affect the growth of bacteria. Now, bacteria can be divided into two, okay? The major group, majority of them are said to be heterotroph. Okay, heterotroph means they cannot synthesize their own food and they have to resort from decomposing other organic matter to get this source of energy. Now, the other smaller ones, they're called autotrophic bacteria. So these are the ones that actually can gain energy from oxidizing materials such as ammonia, sulfur, and iron. And if you remember, I think this process is closely related to nitrification bacteria. What is the name of it? Nitrobacter, if not mistaken. Nitrobacter converts ammonium into nitrate. So this is what Nitrobacter does. Okay, so let's have a general overview. An overview what bacteria does in the soil, in the importance. Now, of course, they're going to eat the detritus, I mean the feces from the larger organisms that we learned earlier. So they are the end feeders. They feed on this so-called feces or the waste from larger organisms, from higher trophic, and they release it. They release it in available form. Now, not only they can recycle nitrogen, they can virtually recycle everything, every single nutrient that's available inside the organic matter. One of them is nitrogen, probably phosphorus, and other trace elements. Now, these other trace elements includes these so-called macro or micronutrients as well. Okay, and then they release it. So once they release it, they can be readily available for plants. Now, apart from that, they also can release hormone. So bacteria also may sometimes release hormone, not all the time, but sometimes. Yeah. This hormone may be good, may be bad, quite similar to nematodes and also earthworms. Now, this one is quite specific. Not all bacteria can fix it, but if there's anything can fix nitrogen, it's Nitrobacter. Nitrosomonas. Yeah, Nitrosomonas fix nitrogen gas from the air, and then Nitrobacter converts it from ammonium into nitrate. So in this third point, fixing nitrogen, there are two bacteria, Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter. Okay, point number 4, increasing the solubility of nutrients. This is similar to point number 1. Point number 5, improving soil structure. Now, this is quite strange, right? Because the only thing that we learned so far that increase in soil structure, majority from earthworms. Right? Earthworm is a major one. Sometimes atropos, insect also can do it. But bacteria, how does it increase the structure? I would say that maybe they increase the structure in a way that they contribute to high organic matter, because bacteria itself is also an organic matter. So it counts as increasing the organic matter, and when organic matter increase, they will also have an increase of aggregation and also lower bulk density. Okay, the point number 6, fighting root disease. Now, do you remember what causes root disease? It's fungus, right? Yeah. Always think of this one. If the root disease arises due to fungus, bacteria can balance it, and they indirectly helps reduce the root disease. Because there is a saying, if the area is infested with fungus, you will have root disease. But if there's a balance between bacteria versus fungus, then there will be a lower occurrence of root disease. Yeah. And then finally, detoxifying soil. Now, this part, I think we'll go further, we'll go deeper. There's a chapter later on called bioremediation. I think by that time we'll go deeper inside it. Yeah. So this is one of the major function of bacteria inside the soil. And like I said to you just now, this is the cycle of nitrogen. There are two bacteria involved in fixing nitrogen. Number one is right here. This is Nitrosomonas. The name is not written there, but I'm sure you know. You must have learned it in secondary school. Nitrosomonas is right here. They give you the ammonium, the conversion to nitrate. This one, nitrification or nitrifying bacteria. This one is Nitrobacter. Okay, enough said. So a brief description of the microbes. They are decomposer of the organic matter. The bottom one, the lowest trophic, they fix nitrogen, they release nutrient, they also happen to release a bit of hormone. So a lot of similarity, isn't it? In fact, if you look at all tropics of this soil organism, starting from the larger ones until the small ones, each of them involved in the nutrient recycling stage. You see, do you hear carefully? I said nutrient recycling stage, each of them. Not all of them can generate nutrient. One very good example. If you say nutrient generation, I want to ask you, can earthworm generate nutrient? Let's hear from you. You can switch on your mic now. Can earthworm generate nutrient? So this nutrient, I give example, it could be nitrogen, it could be potassium, phosphorus. So back to my question again. Can earthworm generate nutrient? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, just one. The others, you're not sure. Okay, I confirmed the answer just now. The answer is no. Because why? Earthworms is not autotrophic organism. They don't produce their own nutrient, you see. So these are the most of the wrong answers that I got. Most of the wrong answers that I got from the previous test and examination, in which most of the students previously, when I asked what is the function of earthworms, straight away they say they supply nutrient. The answer probably is partly correct and wrong, because to produce nutrient, you did not mention how this nutrient is produced in the first place. Yes, they do, but they produce the nutrient from another source of nutrient. They themselves don't produce, you see. So they don't generate new nutrients actually. However, if you look at bacteria earlier we have explained there are two types: heterotrophic and autotrophic. The autotrophic ones are the ones that's capable of generating nutrients. Okay, so don't confuse yourself between the functions of these different organisms. You have to clarify, yeah. Okay, I think it's time for us to take a 5-minute break before we go on to the rest. So I have so far explained to you several organisms, from large to small ones, and their function, their importance to the soil health. So I think I will stop this video first.